All right, I think we are live. Welcome, everyone, to the sixth episode of the Paddlers Podcast, where we talk about all things kayaking. We're going to cover lots of things tonight. I'm going to have lots of people on tonight. Specifically, we're going to start with two. Hello, everybody that's trickling in. Wow, that happened really fast. Okay. Stoked for everyone that is watching. I'm going to do the technical things. Watch. Okay, I have to go up here. Same thing happened last week. Um, let me double check that I have everything lined up. Should have everything lined up this week. We had some technical difficulties last week, and I wasn't able to bring Ashley on, which was a super big bummer. This week, I have David Hughes lined up to be our guest speaker tonight. So David runs a kayaking hostel in Chile, South America, in Pucon. Or sorry, not a hostel, a retreat. And he's going to talk about all things paddling in South America. We're going to ask him questions. Anybody that's watching that's considering doing an international paddling trip, this is definitely the episode to be watching. We're going to cover all sorts of things, but before I bring David on, I wanted to give some announcements and do some fun stuff while we let some people trickle in. I'm going to do some intros for those that don't know. My name's Eric Bartle with Ohio Kayak Instruction. I'm going to be talking. I started doing these as Wednesday night podcasts because it's just a good idea to, at once a week, be able to bring the community together and talk about a lot of different fun kayaking stuff. So, and each week I'm going to bring on a different guest, and they'll all be from different areas and different backgrounds. So it should be a lot of fun. Let me look at the itinerary. Okay. This week's giveaway. Okay, I did have time to do a giveaway this week, and it's well hidden. You guys will love it. Let me see. Let me go down here and see if I've got my people. Okay, Ashley, I'm gonna try to add you, and we'll see if it worked. It didn't work last week. It probably won't work this. Bring David on right after I bring Ashley on. Um, but in the meantime, I hope she can join me because I had a bunch of questions I wanted to ask her last week and I wasn't able to because we couldn't get the videos to work out and we couldn't get the feed to work. So I hope she can join. In the meantime, we have a couple paddling related upcoming events I want to talk about. This weekend, we've got two groups going out of state to go paddling. One is going to the Lower Yacht, the Columbus crew is heading to the Lower Yacht, and then there's a Cincinnati crew going to the Lower Gauley. So if you're looking to paddle this weekend or want to get on some water, consider reaching out. Talk to me after the podcast or leave some comments, and we'll cover it. Please do me a favor and boost. Do some hearts or thumbs up to boost this out. It really does help. And then leave some comments again this week. I'm gonna have to switch over to doing this. I do it on the phone, but I might have to switch. And I've never had the first four episodes went perfectly fine on the phone, but episode five did not work on the phone. So I'm going to have to switch over possibly. I like the phone because I like the video quality of the phone, but I think I'm gonna have to go over to switching over to invite to watch. Okay. Switch over to doing it in a different way because the phone just for some reason it doesn't always work for me. All right, those are the upcoming paddling events, and then we have Outdoor X that is not this weekend but next weekend. If you are in town, please come to Outdoor X. It is going to be a lot of fun. We're going to cover it's a weekend of kayak races up in Dayton, Ohio. Not this weekend, but next weekend, October 3rd, 4th, and 5th. We are going to have a slalom race, we're going to have a boatercross race, and we're going to have a downriver race. It's going to be super fun. There's cash prizes. Everyone that comes and participates will win something. So anybody that comes and participates, you're definitely going to win something. So please come and support the paddling community. It's going to be a blast. We also there's free camping at that event. So anybody that wants to come and camp, please do so. I'm having the same Technical difficulties suck. I like figured this out, but I swear like Facebook hates me. Like I even did a dry run to make sure this would work. But um, keep that in mind. We've got Outdoor X coming up. The October 10th pool class is full. So if you have not already registered for the Friday night pool class, that class is full, but I still have room in the January class. So if you have not registered for the October 10th pool class, um, it's full, but I have room. January 9th is the start date of the other pool class I'm going to be running this winter. There is also two pool options for this winter. There's going to be Xavier and Lebanon are the two pool options. Let me see if I can bring David Hughes on while I'm also talking. Won't even show. Wait, there we go. And so if you're looking for one-on-one instruction, you might want to go and talk to George Davis. I'm not able. I'm not able to um, do necessarily one-on-one instruction. We do it in a group setting, but you'll end up working with me one-on-one. But if you want really intimate one-on-one work with an instructor, you know it's a group class how we set it up, and we keep the price of the class down by having lots of people take the class all at once. So that's how we do it to make it as affordable as possible. Um, I've also heard rumors that Wright State is going to have a pool session. Jury is still out on that. Has anybody heard if that is happening? If Stephanie's watching, please let me know. I've heard that it's happening. I've also heard it's not happening. I'm not quite sure. Okay, good. Yes, that's how I'm gonna do it. Let's go. All right, I got the comments now. We got the comments, which is great. And we have a slight delay. David, I see you, but it won't let me. You're not in my like list of people that it will. Hang on, let me try again. That it's gonna let me bring you on for some reason. So let me try this while I'm doing this. The phone's just hey. I have unlocked the secrets. Okay, here we go. Um, I now know the secrets to watch. No, I don't want to invite friends to watch. Your viewers. Bear with me, guys. I just realized I cracked the code on Facebook, and it's now allowing me to do what I wanted to do. Test. Please leave a comment. I've got comments coming up over here. Awesome, Ed. While I'm trying to bring David on, it's always the phone. Hang on. Let me see. Let me see. So David does not show up in my feed up there, but let me see if I can scoot over this way and do it this way. David Hughes. It says, David, it says an invite was sent to you. Um, let me see. Let me try it a different way. Bear with me, everyone. I can do it that way. And it does. What's interesting, David, is that on my end, it doesn't even show that you're watching the live stream. Like it shows me a list of people, but it's only showing me 8 people, whereas I know that 17 people are watching right now, but it's not showing me that. We did have the Q&A. We had light. No, we're going to leave that off. We're going to leave that. I can see the comments this week. So as they come in, the Golly was great, Larry. It was a super good time. That's one of the best rivers in the world, by the way. Anybody, if you have the opportunity to paddle the Golly, it's a blast, but you definitely need to have the skills to do so. Um, Ed says he's working on dates for Xavier pool sessions. Those typically start in January, so as we will have more information. Um, we'll be able to have more information about that when we get closer. But typically, Ed, when are you going to start those? Like first week in January, typically? Stephanie, no updates on Wright State. Okay, let me see. David, try to stop watching the live stream and then come back on and see if that will work. Same thing happened last time. What's funny is it's not even showing me. Ah, it is. Actually, I'm going to try. I'm sending you a request again. Don't be shy this time. If it'll let you join, you should join. And Mike. Oh yeah, we took so this weekend we did get on the Gully. Gully Fest was awesome. Got to paddle the Antics 3, which was super fun. The Antics 3 is a blast. I would describe it more like a firecracker. Uh, it's a little more playful than the Antics 2, with a little bit more bow rocker, and the stern is a little easier to stern square. Super fun boat. I had a blast in it. We took a few people down for their first time. Ed Lockwood, Def Mike, and Mitch came down with us for their first runs on the Upper Gully. Everyone had great lines. The only one that flipped was it you, Mike? Yeah, Mike flipped at Sweets Falls, but he rolled right up, so it was no problem at all. Everybody crushed it on the Upper Gully. I'm so proud of like from where the students were, and like where we all started out at the beginning of the year to where we were finishing. I was very proud of everyone. But Mike also has a history of paddling. He took a break for 15 years and then came back to paddling, so he's not a complete beginner. Okay, all right, we're gonna have to do this a different way then. All right, David, it hates me. Ashley, it wouldn't let you. Let me try this. Yeah, send invite to watch. Let me click on David. No, it won't let me do that in either. Okay, this is what I'm gonna have to do. While we're still on this one, before I lose everyone, before I try some technical stuff, I do want to make the announcement. Uh, I hit a box this week. This box isn't a this dry. So for those of you that are new, I hide a dry box every week, and I hide a dry box on some river somewhere. Last one I hid was on the lower Yacht. I thought about hiding one on the upper Gully, but then I was like, no, that's a bad idea. I hid one this week. The one I hid is on a section of river here in Cincinnati that very few people actually paddle, but it does have a die-hard community around it. Uh, and I hit a box on the Mill Creek. So, in the comments, has anyone paddled the Mill Creek? Because it's actually a really fun section. And there's a huge group. The Mill Creek Alliance is trying to revitalize the Mill Creek and get people to paddle the Mill Creek because it's actually a really fun section. However, it's not necessarily water you want to flip over in. But the Mill Creek is a lot of fun. So please consider paddling it. The box is hidden in Evendale under the bridge that takes you to. There is a Menards and Walmart in Evendale, and there's a bridge that goes across the Mill Creek right there. The box is hidden under that bridge, up in the rafters of the bridge on River Left. So if you are up for a geocache and want to try to find, go paddle that section of river and find that dry box. I have a feeling it's going to be there a while because none of you guys went and got the one that was at Kelly's Nature Preserve. Shame on you. Shame on you all, because you guys totally should have sent. Oh, David may have figured out the magic. Hang on. Okay, that's weird. It says my audience is set to custom, which I don't know why. David Hughes, ladies and gentlemen. All right, here we go. I was getting lonely here, David. I know you figured
Hey,
something out, which makes me so stoked.
I switched to my phone. Can you hear
Okay.
me?
I can hear you fine. You have
Awesome.
no idea what it's like sitting here talking to yourself for 14 minutes. I'm like, "Oh my God, I am dying here." Hearts, please. Everyone welcome David Hughes. I'm so excited. I'm just so excited right now. I'd like to have you on. Over the moon. Okay. Ashley's like, yes, good. Okay. I'm going to give a quick introduction,
Yeah.
David, and then we'll dive right in. I've got some questions for you. For everyone in the chat, please, you feel free to ask questions as we go. David, keep an eye on the comments because, or I'll keep an eye on the comments. You focus on the questions I'm asking you. For those of you that don't know, this is David Hughes. David Hughes ran New River Academy, the high school that I attended, the kayaking high school I attended. He ran that school and made it what it was, which was an incredible program, gave lots of kids the opportunity to travel all over the world and explore and learn how to kayak. And then he transferred those skills and opened up a kayak retreat in Pucon, Chile, um, after years of how long did you run New River Academy?
Um, I don't know, maybe 12, 13 years.
Okay. Yeah. And so David now has a kayak retreat down in Pucon, Chile, which is where he is filming from right now, if I'm not mistaken. Is that right, David?
Yes.
Awesome. We're going to ask David lots of questions tonight about paddling in Chile, about how you would even go about booking something like that. If you have questions as we go through, please go ahead and ask them in the comments. I have the comments up on another screen. Um, but yeah, let's dive right in. Let's start with, hang on, now I got to scroll down to the David questions. All right, David. Well, I kind of give an intro of you, but tell us about yourself. How did you start paddling? How did you get into kayaking? What made you want to open a kayak retreat?
Okay. Well, first, I know that you've been working on your branding and logos, so I did some graphics design work today, and I got a little logo for Ohio Kayak Instruction.
Let's go. Oh, I love it.
You want to change colors? We can do different colors.
Yes, I love this. Uh, I love all of this.
Yeah, so colors cost additional, but I do have multiple colors.
Oh,
So, yeah. All right. So, a little bit about my relationship with Eric. The really funny thing is, I met Eric. I was video boating for Class 6 on the Golly, and Eric's family took him rafting. They went rafting, but he asked to kayak that day. And I was running this high school for kayakers, and I met Eric on a rafting bus in West Virginia. And he signed up for my high school that travels the world and trains for whitewater kayaking. Um, so when Eric was a teenager, all he cared about was kayaking. That's all he wanted to do. And this high school took your teachers and your classes and went to the world's best kayak destinations. And as you can imagine, Eric didn't care much about school. So this was the perfect thing for Eric and his family. And he went around the world with us. So back then, what I was doing, guys, was I was with the high school, we were always seeking the world's best kayak destinations to train these kids. Um, that's that's my cat behind me, Morta. So we were seeking destinations that were really good for freestyle, or they had great river features or waterfalls. Hey, Valeda, Valeda, the cat's gonna get the pizza. So we were going to destinations like Costa Rica and Ecuador, and New Zealand and Chile and South Africa, and just really cool destinations. But they were always south of the equator, warm destinations, the Ottawa River, and just the best training destinations. And so that's really how I discovered Chile. And when I had the high school, we were arranging logistics for these guys, which were like transportation, whitewater destination, their meals, and their lodging. And eventually, I decided I want to open up a destination for like a a base for the high school. And I chose Chile because it was so good. I thought it was the best. Literally, I was looking at Ecuador, Costa Rica, and Chile, and just the training was superior in Chile, and the culture was great, and it was cheaper to fly to Ecuador and Costa Rica, but the consistency of rivers was superior. You could go on a run in Costa Rica and you'd have an hour and a half shuttle each direction, and then have to do a 12-mile run, and that just didn't work for our school because Eric was literally doing classes, and then we would go train on freestyle after school. Uh, so that's how I came about, and then I saved up from that high school. I saved up $100,000 and just dreamt of buying a riverside property in Chile. And I came down here one year and I bought it. Uh, and then I didn't have any money for years. I was just paying off debt and buying this property. So that's the cool way we got into how I met Eric, and he became uh, Eric was actually really, really good. Uh, Extreme racer. He was really fast, and he made national team in freestyle several times. It's super cool. Congratulations that you made the freestyle team again.
Thank you.
Uh, yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, off the couch. The little story to that, and some of the people here in Cincinnati know this story, but last year I was living in a house with black mold, and I had serious I love it. I had serious respiratory problems, and I got out of the black mold in that bad situation, and Annie and the family was in it. It was really bad, and I was like, I couldn't do anything like this. I was like, I'm going to do something way out of my comfort zone and go try out for the U.S. men's freestyle kayak team. And I trained for it really hard. Those guys are good, by the way. Everyone that shows up at team trials, like they're super unassuming, but like there is an insane amount of really good paddlers that you don't even know their names. Like people just don't even know them. Like, but they're outstanding and they show up. Um, but it was a blast. Loved it, and I think I'm flirting with what my next challenge is going to be. I'm flirting with really diving into slalom boating next, David. We'll see. Because I've always been a really fast racer. I've always been fast, and so I'm flirting with it. Uh, yeah, we'll see. I don't know. I haven't decided. Annie would probably murder me if I if I took some more training on right now. But I don't know if you heard, David, they're opening a whitewater center here in Louisville, like an hour and 15 from Cincinnati. So, and it's supposed to be the size of Charlotte. Like
I have
it's gonna, yeah, it's gonna be really cool. We're really excited to have it and have it in our backyard, like a close, an hour 15. It's a little bit of a drive, but that's really not bad for us. Um,
Yeah, I actually spoke to a guy that wants to copycat what you're doing, and I'm super well. I'm proud of all my students, and when we see someone that's having success, I'm super proud of what you're doing in Cincinnati, Dayton area with Ohio Kayak Instruction. Uh, your video shorts, we talked about that last week a little bit, but your consistency is remarkable, and it's so simple. You're just getting them out there and keeping them coming. So, good job on that. Seems like you're doing really well from where I'm sitting.
Thank you. I, I wish I actually more people would put them out, but I think that there's a market for that, and people need like everyone likes watching the kayaker run. Everyone loves watching Dane run 100-foot waterfall and all the like Annual and all the big names. But people do need to know how to do a forward stroke, and they need to watch how you do a sweep roll and how you do a C to C and how you
Right.
do this basic stuff. And I think a lot of people don't put that kind of content out because, you know, I experienced it. You get a lot of like the people that comment on the videos. It's a very hostile environment. That's how I'll put it. But that's okay. I was prepared for it, and I was open for respectful dialogue. And I'm willing to say I've read, and I some people that critiqued me respectfully. I changed the way I view things because of what they said. Now, when they come in and are kind of a jerk, you know, it's harder to listen, but I will say if someone teaches in a better way, I will adapt my teaching style. And I'm capable of change, and I'm capable of like learning new things. But it's rare that I come across people that I'm like, okay, you're teaching it in a unique way that is in fact better than the way I'm teaching it.
Right.
But it does happen. So. Let's dive into the next question. Let's talk about the Pucon Kayak Retreat. So, Nicole, who's watching, and Jeremy and a few others have actually been down to your retreat. I haven't been there since 2012, which is crazy that it's been 13 years.
Mm-hmm.
When I come back, I'm gonna bring the boys. I think I don't know. I'm flirting with what I'm gonna do. I'm flirting with 2027.
Mm-hmm.
Annie doesn't know this, but she never watches my live streams. And since we're like 26 minutes in, I know she's not going to watch this, so I can say whatever I want. I'm flirting with a 2027 2027 winter trip. Um, but we'll see. We'll see where the books are. We'll see where Ohio Kayak Construction is. How we'll see if that's going to be a possibility. But talk to us about the retreat. It was like you had a couple options when I was there in 2012. You had the yurts were just getting built,
Yeah.
and you had the tree house that had been built,
Right.
where yeah, guys, you can actually stay in like a tree house.
Yeah.
uh
So I'll jump into that. I got two things I want to explain. One is another story about you, and then answer a question Michael Hood asked online earlier in the week on your Facebook page. So the first story is about a failure with the. So originally, as you know, we were back in 2012. We were Pucon Kayak Hostel, and my idea was with the high school, we always needed a. We were always seeking these hostels to stay in, to stay economically. So we needed food, lodging, and transportation, and a good whitewater destination. So I was like, man, if I could provide those logistics to the kayak community, the food, lodging, transportation, and kayaks at a great whitewater destination, they'll come and show up. So I bought the property. I was in debt, and then opened it up for the high school, but then I opened it up as Pucon Kayak Hostel. And so what I was trying to do, if you go to Ecuador, it's really easy. The taxi drivers, and there's always truck drivers and taxi drivers, and they have a menu list of river sections, and you can pay $15 to have them drive you to the river. I was like, okay, I want to do that in Chile, and Chile's just a different animal, and the rivers are further spread out. It's not convenient, and you don't have the gas is double, triple. It's gas down here is double what it costs in the States. And so to sum that story up, on my birthday in 2012, I was like, what do I want to do for my birthday? I want to go run a waterfall. And I was like, okay, I'll go to the Rio Fui. And so that photo I posted on your Facebook page the other day was that this day. With So Eric was there, and we went to run my favorite waterfall canyon, the Rio Fui. And I charged everybody $20 for gas. And there were five folks like Eric on the trip. And at the end of the day, I filled up the gas tank and it cost me $120. It's like, huh, I just paid $20 to take five guys on the kayak trip of their lifetime. Something's wrong with my business model. And so I really had to quit just doing the hostel. We're going to try to run shuttles for kayakers is not a good business model. Is the moral of the story. Um, so what we did is NOC approached us, then Nantahala Outdoor Center, about running trips for them for their guides, and those guides originally were like Casey Jones, Curtis England. I'm forgetting some folks. Eli Castleberry, and Tosh Arwood. So we started running kayak trips, and we slowly started going from this really low price point model, and when we were hostel, it was a lot of fun. There was a lot of partying in those days, and we were a lot younger. And then the retreat, I rebranded it during COVID. Went back to school, got my MBA, and changed it to a 1 week all inclusive package. So now you come, you get your kayak included. And the funny thing was, during those NOC days, we would have NOC guests here paying for a 1 week trip, and they were completely happy. But then we would have these guests that were wanting to pay for a shuttle, and they were paying $20 for this and $20 to rent a kayak, and they were not happy. And the problem is they wanted to go and do all these trips for free that we were doing and have the wine and the dinners and all the package that we had, but they weren't willing to pay for it. And so eventually I just had to kill it because it was just too much conflict. So now you were talking about lodgings. We built these riverside domes with ensuite bathrooms and a small deck overlooking the river. And this year we built a yoga dome with a view of the river, and so we're really excited about that. Made a terrace. My fiance Valeda and I are going to get married there this year. We've got a hot tub and a fire pit down by the river. When you were here, we had the quincho. We hired an architect, which is Lorenzo's family, you know about, and
Oh
that's
yeah.
an outdoor setting. You know, when I first bought the property, there was this one building on the property. It was just kind of a normal cabin, and all the kayakers would come in after their kayaking trips, and they just go to their rooms and geek out on GoPro videos, and everybody disappear. And I started building a fire in the parking lot, and everybody would come out and they'd get their beers and they'd get their chairs and they'd gather around. And so I went to this architect. I was like, "Hey, everybody's just separating." He's like, "Yeah, that's what hotels do. They just separate people." I was like, "I want something that brings everybody together." So he built this open air quincho, which is where we eat. There's a fire pit in the middle. It's open air, two big family style tables. The family style tables were really important. In all of our trips, we eat all of our meals together at the same table, and we have awards, and we talk about the trip the next day, and then we laugh at our failures or whatever, and people drink beer out of their shoe or whatever they want to do. So it's just a lot of fun. But the whole point was that to invest in this architectural piece that made this place social and brought people together, and it really pulled it off. But yeah, that's kind of we built a riverside property. To tie that into Michael Hood's question, he kind of asked this question, which was why I saw it asked two different ways. What makes Pucon or Chile rivers prepare you better for North America? And then I kind of, am making the case for Pucon being the world's best kayak destination.
I
Uh,
think it is 100%. I've been to a lot of places and I've never been to anywhere quite like it.
yeah, so kind of speaking to you, Michael, and but everybody at the same time. Um, the answer I think is convenience, because like I've lived in all these whitewater destinations, the Ottawa River, the Arkansas River, and Buena Vista, the Southeast, around the Ocoee, the Nantahala. All these rivers have one thing in common, is that all these great features to train on are super within proximity to each other. And everybody knows the Ottawa is, the world's best training grounds for freestyle. But then doesn't really have a lot other for like boofing or running waterfalls or diversity. Uh, or now in Dayton and Cincinnati and Louisville, soon to be, you have these great training grounds for freestyle, and you got the Five Rivers, and I've surfed and supboard there in Dayton, and went and watched a baseball game afterwards, and I think that's pretty awesome. But again, the diversity in Pucon, you have all throughout Chile, the Andes spine is flowing within about a 2 hour distance, maybe 3 hour distance to the Pacific. We're at 750 feet altitude, but we only have to drive into the Andes, and that we're a few thousand feet. And so all that snowpack and all the rain, so we're getting snowpack and rain precipitation here. And it's a temperate deciduous rainforest. So we get a lot of precipitation. We've got road infrastructure. And then, so you got all those rivers flowing to the into our river, which is the Trancura. It's something like combo of the New and the Ocoee. It's a little bit more technical than in the New, probably. We're at the put in for one section, take out for another section. We have a lot of features on a river. But then you can drive in any direction to beginner sections, or we have a year-round waterfall run, and that's guaranteed. It's natural. It's not dam controlled. None of it. Um, so the features, for example, double drop on the Upper Palgine, which is our waterfall run. We built a ladder there, and it's got two booths. It's got a 4-foot high booth and then a 9-foot high booth. And so as soon as you run that, you can climb back up the ladder and get immediate video feedback and review from your instructors. And you'll see the world's best kayakers come here to run, to lap that. And then, or, it's kind of on the same level as the Teleco. I don't know if your group is familiar with that, but it's
They
kind of
are.
an entry level waterfall run. And then we have just Curtis England discovered a few years ago just above our property, even though that's a class 4, there's class 4 or 5 rapids up above. He discovered how to put in below that and open up an intermediate developed section. I was like, holy cow, we've got a beginner, intermediate, and advanced expert level section all connected to our property here. And so it just kept getting better. But yeah, the point is that, instead of being like Costa Rica where we were having to do an hour-long shuttle to do a 12-mile run, we can go park and play. We can go park and huck. We can run a waterfall run. We can work on booths and climb the ladder, and you can do 10 laps and notch your booths. And I see Jeremy mention Aniol and Gerd. You'll see the biggest names in the world taking off at our property because there is, on the class 4 section above us, there's 2 class 5 rapids that you can portage that the best guys in the world are training on, and girls. So it's the convenience is really the answer, I think. There you have great features in Ohio and North Carolina or all over the country, but they're spread out. And here we have them, right in one area. Yeah, probably went a little
So
long.
no, that's fine. Yeah, I agree. When it comes to Pucon, you've got so many good options. So you've got the Trinkra, which is right at the Dave's property, and Dave's property is incredible, by the way. And Mike, you should definitely go because you are ready for the Upper Palgine for sure. He just ran the Upper Gully for his first time this on Saturday, and he crushed it. But you also have the Nevados that's just down the road, and you have, you have, and I saw Nicole mention a second ago. What did you say your favorite run was, Nicole? Was it the San Pedro? There's just a lot of really good options within like an hour of Pucón, and it's pretty incredible when you look at the options of like, you know, what we have in North America is great. However, it's you don't have such a high density. Maybe the Southeast, you might be able to say like the NOC and the Ocoee and around the Asheville area within about an hour to 2 hours. There's a lot of really good boating down there. But Pucón is it's pretty special. Being like paddling somewhere where the water is crystal clear, where the water is clean. I don't know what it's like now. It's been 13 years since I've been there, but it was pretty incredible. Especially coming back. So I paddle in all these beautiful places, and then I come back to Ohio, and our water quality is just horrible. It's just and so it's been interesting. It's another thing that inspired me. But all right, let's move on to the next
I, I
question.
I saw a good question I wanted to answer. I think Nicole asked it, but
Cool.
basically, someone asked about waterfalls and what time of year to come. And that's a really good
Mm,
question.
that is a good one.
So, you we are in the world's best destination for waterfalls, in my opinion, because of what I told you about the volcanoes and the basalt flows. Um, the Think of January and February like June and July. So as you get towards February, you don't have many of your creeks running, and you're getting to your summer flows. But if you move towards like no, so in November we're gonna run the Rio Claro and Pucon Creek Week, and we don't run any beginner intermediate trips in November. That's like spring runoff in West Virginia. So if you go over to West Virginia and Dry Meadows running and Mans Creek and all those hardcore class fives are running, it's just not the time for Eric to take the intermediates to West Virginia. Even the new is high. And so he would save that for June or July when the levels get more manageable for your first time down. The newer would not be, he wouldn't want to do it at high water. So what we do is we run our expert trips in November, and literally we have 20 people. This is on our Clario trip this year. We're running two separate trips with two separate teams. And that's the most dangerous thing we do, most extreme. The real Clario is a basalt canyon, 66 million years old. It's a phenomenon on the planet. And then by the time we get to December, we can kind of run a little bit of everything. Um, Beginner, intermediate, and advanced. It's getting sunny. It's like early May. The levels are still good. It hasn't dropped to summer levels yet. You still have more options. There's a lot of waterfalls still to be available. And by the time we get to January and February, in February we're practically only running beginner and intermediate trips, and we drop out. So if you're a beginner and intermediate, I'm mostly referring you to hit that late January, early February period, where the river levels are more manageable. They're not as pushy, and it allows you to have, a better learning experience without being pushed around. One thing I talked to Eric about was creating a group discount for you guys. Anybody that signs up for trips, we'll count you guys all as one group. I have a group discount page. I'll share that page on Eric's page and Ohio Kayak Construction page later, and that'll count. You guys can sign up, and if you want to do a trip, and everybody can get a group discount. So you get the power of the group. Thank you, Eric and Ohio Kayak Construction. Um, the waterfalls, Nicole. When we do an advanced trip, kind of our go-to waterfalls are Salto Blanco is the cleanest 35-footer I know of. It's super clear blue water. And we've had several intermediates that ran their first waterfall there. It's a park and huck. You literally you pedal 10 feet, and you pop off a waterfall, and then you climb a ladder or you climb the bank, and we rope your boat back up, and you do it again. So for those that have a hand roll, they can try to throw a paddle. But mostly we're just having a big media shoot that day. The bread and butter is the Palgine. It's got about 6 waterfalls. It's a very short run. We hike down into a basalt canyon. There's a land bridge at the put in. That's a really unique phenomenon. I don't know if you've ever put in at a river where there's a land bridge going over the river. And you have to still launch into the river, and that adds to the experience. Even though it's a relatively easy waterfall run, we still get plenty of people get scared in there. But the still launch kind of adds to the experience. Like, oh wow, I'm in here now. And
Yeah, you are.
you might be hot out. It might be a hot summer day. The temperature drops because you're kind of down in the cooler.
Let me
Coilaco is
let
one where uh, that one, when it floods, there's several waterfalls in the area that come in when it floods, when you go back to those October, November dates. Um, and
let
anybody who wants to run that's, class 4 plus paddler, you would come during those earlier months. But mostly, if our Pucon Classics advanced, intermediate, and beginner trips are kind of the trips I'm thinking of for your group, Eric. There is an advanced program called the Rio Fui plus Pucon Rivers. That's pretty special. We spend 3 days, 2 nights at the Fui, so you get more waterfalls on that waterfall canyon, plus only the best of Pucon, and that's for advanced paddlers only.
Yeah, the Fui is a lot of fun, but it's not to be taken lightly, definitely.
Right. And someone mentioned in there, it's like, yeah, the year I came, there was a intermediate and a beginner trip the same week. So we do that as well. And that's another advantage of the property. It's like we've got all skills. A lot of people think they're not good enough to kayak in Chile. And I think we got the best beginner intermediate rivers anywhere.
I would
They're
agree.
cool. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
and so we're in the Lakes District. And a lot of our rivers either start in a lake or end in a lake. So if there's a beginner section that ends in a lake, we'll run that beginner section, then we'll do roll lessons right in the lake on the beach, or vice versa. We'll start in the lake and do roll lessons at the beginning, and then paddle into the beginner section. That's a really cool thing as well.
Yeah,
But
it's
that's
important. It's important for everyone to remember too that I know most people are going to know this, but when we're in summer down here, they're in winter in South America, and it flips. So now that we're going into fall, they're going into spring. So it's their wet season right now where they're getting all their rain, and it flip flops. So if you're looking for a good if you're looking for a wintertime paddling trip and you want to go somewhere where it's warm, you should definitely consider going to Chile because it's incredible. And Dave was talking about this. It's not just for the advanced paddlers. The wide range of rivers there is quite incredible. And the intermediate stuff is really good. The very, very good. The big water, like the lower Trancura. What would you rank the lower Trancura at, Dave?
I usually call it three. If it's at
Yeah,
higher water, 3 plus or four.
yeah.
It yeah,
Do
it's
you,
played.
do,
It's got a lot
you're
of boost.
You're taking 20 people to the Clara.
Yeah, this will be our
That is
biggest
incredible.
group. We're
Uh,
doing 2 teams of 10 with 3 guides per team of 10. Um, Hiring a restaurant to do all of our meals, and so that's and it's crazy because we've had several years where we were the COVID years. We went 21 months with no business, and
sure.
just everything I could do to keep the property and maintain the place. And now we're having our best year ever, and uh, so I'm
Yeah.
always checking all the manufacturers and other kayak schools where they're doing with their trips and everything. So we're having a really great year. So I think it's finally just the branding and reputation. Someone else mentioned talk about the guides, probably Nicole. Uh, that's a cool question too. So I like that because you're hopefully you're proud of your staff. Um, what we do a lot of times is one of the reasons we're having good success is not only the great destination but providing a good service. Is I have a line in our mission statement, and it is something to the effect of to recruit, train, and retain industry leaders. And I'm going to repeat that: to recruit, train, and retain industry leaders. And I really like that sentence. Uh, so Curtis is coming back for his 8th year, and he works at NOC. Blue, who was introduced by Curtis and Tosh Arwood, is a professional musician. He's coming out for his 4th season. Then he introduced us to Haley McKee, who owns her own first aid company, and she's coming down for her 3rd season. Um, and we're hoping that Eric and Jeremy will start bringing Ohio kayak construction trips down here. So
It's coming.
we run a program where you can run your trips down here and bring your guests, your kayakers, and we'll provide everything. We provide the food, lodging, kayaks, uh, the transportation, all the meals, and that's worked out really well for us because it's extremely hard for us to recruit clients from the United States and around the world. But now we've got several partnerships that are ongoing for several years. Kirk Edelman's a big one. He wrote the guidebook in the Southeast, and he brought last year was his first year. He brought a ton of clients, and he's running 4 trips down here this year. Uh, so those are I know I've missed some. Oh, our local guides. Lucas Varas is worth mentioning. Um,
Is your
he
Clara is your Clara trip full, by the way?
Yeah,
And okay, just want to double check on that because Claro
but
is one of those rivers that is just incredible, everyone, and it will change your life forever if you ever paddle the Rio Claro.
the week after so I am thinking about posting the dates for next season up because it's that I've had to turn people away. Um,
Yeah.
Pucon Creek Week November 8th to 15th. Uh, if you're class four paddler looking to learn how to paddle creeks and rivers and advance to the next stage, and do it safely with proper instructors and safety, then check out that trip or the Fui plus Pucon rivers. Lucas Varas is uh, our top Chilean guide down here, and he Tino, back when he was at the MIPO, which was a student and coach of Eric's later, uh, started a training team of high school students when they were 15 years old at the MIPO, and he was just volunteering to help these Chileans, and they all turned out to be really great paddlers. But Lucas has been winning all these extreme races and trains at extreme races like a professional, and so we got introduced to him from one of the guys that went to my high school. This guy named Tino, and so he's been learning to articulate how he trains for extreme racing to give instruction on the river to guests in running waterfalls or running class five or booths. But he's also doing our intermediate and beginner trips. So he's here all season. A lot of those guides that we mentioned, some of the guides will come and do a 2 week program with their company. Like I imagine, since Eric's got a family, you would probably come down for 2 or 3 weeks and you go back to Ohio. Whereas our core guides like Lucas, Blue, and Haley are here for this.
Yeah.
So we're really proud of our guides.
Yeah, I've heard like nothing. Everybody that comes down and works with Blue, I've heard nothing but incredible things. So it's like I wish like I would. I've also thought about this. I would love to start auditing programs. I thought about doing this with the NOC, but now that I'm doing all the videos, I can't do it. But I would love to like go in as a complete novice and pretend like I don't know how to kayak at all and just watch because you learn so much about how they teach. It's like, that's an interesting way. Well, I'm going to throw this curveball at them. I'm going to start bending my right arm and see like how are they going to fix that issue?
It'd be famous now.
Yeah,
You'd have to do
a fake nose or
like Eli Manning's brother, whatever, Eli Manning, when he dressed up like like a goofball.
yeah. I wanted to ask this. There's a guidebook for Chile rivers that we used to use back in the day. And is that still the standard? Like, is that like, or is there a newer one? Because that one was really good, and I forget what it was called.
I've got it. It's something really generic, just Chili Whitewater Guidebook or something.
Yeah,
Um,
and it was really good.
um, there's an online source. I can't remember the name of it. That's better.
Okay.
Um, I want to say Rivers of Chile. If
Okay.
someone wants to geek out and Google that, riversofchile.com or .org. Um, that's a pretty good resource. It's not the best tech skills, but they actually Kurt Casey, he did more first ascents in Chile than anybody, past or present. There's a lot of stuff in there. So he's got,
Uh,
there's more stuff on that site if it still exists. It should, I don't know. I think it still exists.
I want to tell a funny story while I got you. You remember the time we were on the Claro, and we got stuck. We were trying to make our way, and then we had to do a vertical extraction. That was like the cool. Like I remember that to this day, and that will be a core memory forever because it was like when I tell that story, people are like, "Oh my God, you were stuck in a canyon." But it was so cool. Like and even when we were in the canyon, I was like, well, we'll get out of here. Like I never did I feel like, oh my God, we're gonna die. But we were trying to paddle the section of the Claro and we got to a rapid that was just too narrow to paddle, and we had to actually we had to climb out, and it was really good. We had lots of Astro green jackets because
Mhm.
those can be used to literally rock climb your way out. And Yeah.
We did it
Yeah.
pretty. We for a technically it was a vertical evacuation, which it sounds worse than.
Yes.
But we did it very safely.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
Clay Whitaker was just like, "Let me climb out," and I couldn't let him because he was a student, but he's a way better climber than me. I was like, "You
Yeah.
just can't." Has to be
Yeah. He
me.
wanted he wanted to free climb it.
And he would have. Once I got up to a tree, then I was able to put everybody on a safety belay.
Yeah.
Uh, so no one came out, and it wasn't like a straight up wall or anything. But that was a really cool experience. Um, yeah, Tino, I had ran the scout from the canyon rim when you finish the Garganta Canyon. We're like, whoa, this takeout is right above the seven teacups. We can just connect these two.
Yeah.
Ran like 100 meters down the riverbank, and we didn't look down in the canyon at that 100 meters, and basically the river choked off into a spot that you couldn't paddle into a sieve.
Yeah.
We had to climb out. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was.
For everyone watching, and wait, Dave, can I hear you? Say something. I might have
Yeah.
lost your audio. Oh no, you're still here. For everyone watching, you should look up Garganta del Diablo. I think that's what the waterfall's called, right, Dave? It's
Yeah,
been
all right.
thir 13 years. You should, when you get off the live stream, you should go look at a video or a picture of that waterfall. And we ran it back in the day. It's the 50 footer. Is it a 50 footer, Dave?
No,
Four.
I think it's 40 at most, but
Okay.
the beautiful thing about it is you've probably seen it. It does a whirly bird, like a 180-degree spin. So it does 20 feet of this 180-degree banking thing, and then it drops another 20 feet. So it's really a super iconic waterfall on the planet, and it's a destination waterfall. People are coming to Chile to run this waterfall.
I've never seen anything like it. Out of all the places I've been, I've never seen a waterfall quite like this one. It is just absolutely incredible. Um, but changing gears away from the Claro, we had some questions about boat rentals and gear, like gear options and things like that. Why don't you speak to, like, if what do you recommend someone bring if they were going to come down and book a stay with you? What gear should they bring? What should they not bring? What would you recommend?
Yeah, if you're doing one of our week-long trips with us, your kayak is provided. Uh, we can provide you with helmet, life jacket, whatever else as well. But we recommend you bring like your own dry top, your own fleece, your own booties, just because the sizing and that stuff's going to be better. Probably better than what we have for you. Um, so the kayaks, we got. I just got a couple of new Indras, Dagger Indras, which we don't allow. If you're some of these we don't allow on like the harder runs, like the Claro. We wouldn't allow the Indra on that. We have Dagger codes and Phantoms, and I still have a Mamba or two. Um, Jackson Kayak, we have the most of. We got Nirvanas, Flows, Nirvanas, a couple of Zens, a Z3, an All Star, Antics 2.0.
Do you have
Uh,
one Antics 2.0, or do you have multiples?
I have two of those.
Two of those. Yeah.
Of course,
You sh
now
you should buy
they're
more of those.
outdated as of this week.
I really am a fan of the 2.0. I like the 3, but the 3 paddles more like is more playful and paddles more like a firecracker. I really like the 2
Okay.
for creaking and stability. So that was my first impressions of the boats. But I think the 3 is going to be more playful and easier to stern squirt, but that also means I think it's a little less stable when it comes to river running. So
Okay. Piranhas. I just bought some reactors. They haven't came in yet, but they'll be here before our trip start. Scorches, and I think that's it. I think I sold my last 9R. as a general rule, I like to sell our kayaks on the second or third season. I really notice that they start breaking on the third season, and they just depreciate in value. No one wants the older model, so I try to sell them and upgrade. Wakas, we're breaking that rule with the Wakas. The OG is still our, even though it's several years old, is still our number one rental.
Nice.
Got
Is that is
Goat, Billy Goat.
the OG's the one where you can take the stern off and make it a half slice? Is that correct? Or is it
No,
which Waka is that? I forget which one they did that
I
with.
don't remember. I've seen a couple of companies do that, and I would I wouldn't buy anything that you. Boats were so great as being simple. I wouldn't buy anything that where you change the design of it by adding a part. That's just extra weight, and there's enough problems with breaking kayaks anyway.
I
The
agree.
We got Stokes, a Stoke. Um, but all right, so they're included in the trip, but you can also rent them direct from us. I saw someone said something about a Raptor. I sold all my Zets. Sadly, Zet went out of business this year. That's bad news. Oh, I got a couple. Jeremy, I do have a couple puffy Steezes. I don't have a Steez. So you can rent kayaks. Another thing you can do is this is very rare in South America, but there's actually a whitewater retailer in Pucon. And that's Ian Garcia. If you know who Evan Garcia is, it's the same family. It's his brother. Um, and they're both retail for what they retail in the States. $1,700. They've got the latest models. I will very often, if it's a popular model, we'll have guests that come down, paddle a boat for 2 or 3 weeks or a month, and then I'll buy it from them used. Um, so that's you can either rent from me, you can buy retail.
Yeah,
Um, it's hard to get. Every now and then I have a used kayak for sale, but they go really fast.
sure.
It's the opposite of the United States. They're just cheaper used condition boats or go fast because of the price point down here.
Yeah. If for any of my students that are listening to this, I would highly recommend you take your own gear because you're comfortable in your own gear. I'm emotionally attached. Like if I put on rental gear, it just doesn't feel the same. It wouldn't feel the same. I wouldn't feel as like bold and safe as I would if I was in my own life jacket, my own helmet, my own gear. And I'd recommend taking your own breakdown. And by the way, I'm a huge fan of Arca Works paddles. I'm a huge fan of those paddles. An old friend of mine started making them in Asheville. And so if you're looking for a two-piece breakdown paddle that is solid and can travel easily, that's a good call for breakdown. And then of course Warner makes a solid breakdown as well. So a couple options on like getting breakdown paddles if you wanted
Yeah,
to. And I would
we
probably recommend doing that.
yeah I can look into that. Right now I have a really good fleet of stock of Werner paddles, and so we have carbon fiber and fiberglass, straight and bent shaft, and I went in varying lengths, pretty much from like 5, 15, and 30-degree offsets, and just kind of generically, those are that pretty much covers everybody. The paddles rent for $10 a day, so even if you're on a trip, uh,
No, that's not bad.
we rent those for 10 a day. That's just because they were a little bit harder to replace than the kayaks, to be honest. They kind of got lost more. They broke more. It's hard to lose a kayak. So we're like, okay, $10 a day is affordable. Um,
Yeah.
the hard piece of gear for everybody to, unfortunately, flying with kayaks has gotten tougher over the years. I did get down here with a small Nirvana. I flew with it, and I did get charged. 2 different flights, zero charges on both flights. Unheard of. Yeah, yeah. I'm usually celebrating if I just get it on and they charge $150, but to get it for free on 2 separate tickets. So I'm really proud of that.
Yeah, you
Uh,
should be.
um, yeah. What else? Um, yeah, let's talk the discount. So if you guys do we'll put a link, and anybody that signs up for the trip, we'll make that.
Surfboards. I love that, Jeremy.
The discount gets larger the more people that come, which is cool. And we'll call that the Ohio Kayak Construction discount for a trip. That's just for the trips. It's not for the one-offs. If you're coming and you're just renting a kayak, or we also rent trucks. We have Toyota Hiluxes and that sort of thing. But it's really, like I said, I actually found it was. Remember how I told that story about I lost money on my birthday with
Hmm.
the. So I was like, wow, it would be easier for me just to rent them the truck instead of me going and guiding them all day, driving them, and then me paying for their gas. It's like I can just rent them the truck and let them do it. And so uh, that's more risk on the vehicle, but that's where we ended up with that side of it. If they're not on a trip, I just didn't have. I can't guide everybody.
Yeah. Will you answer? Mike had a question about paddling in Chile versus Ecuador because he's going to be driving down in a van, and he was just curious.
Oh, cool. Yeah,
He was curious if you
I,
paddled in Ecuador.
yeah. So, Mike, I used to lead trips in Ecuador, Costa Rica, New Zealand, all over. Uh, and so I was looking at Ecuador. Um, and I remember Don from Small World Adventures said to me one time when we were staying down there at their place, he's like, and we were really training freestyle. And so I would go out on all the runs and I would document the levels of all the different runs we were doing and where the freestyle spot is. He goes, you probably have a better idea of the freestyle levels than anyone in the world. Uh, but the the levels were always changing. So you're in the rainforest with rainforest runs, the levels change, so they're not as consistent. Um, you have, um, and Tosh Arwood from NOC was choosing NOC or Ecuador or Chile, and I asked him why he chose Pucon Kayak Hostel at the time over Ecuador, and he said, I don't think there was a beginner or intermediate run in the country, and so NOC's core base is a lot like Ohio Kayak Construction. There's a lot of beginners and intermediates, more so than advanced paddlers. And that's also our core market. So um, there are a lot of class 3, 4, and 5 runs in Ecuador that are really great. But when you start getting towards the intermediate and beginners level, um, you probably would want, well, if you're an intermediate or beginner, you need a professional. You just need that for the safety and the access. So that's when you really start to need a service like Smart World Adventures. Uh, the canyons there, it's beautiful. So one of the big bonuses was always no snakes in Chile. Yeah, that's right. Was the beauty and the vegetation and the fruits and the vegetables. And the juices in the mornings always stuck out to me. The Papayacta section, or Cheese House, where below the Papayacta Hot Springs is a really fast, busy section. I remember I was C1 back then, and I was way in over my head. It was class 5 that day. Um, yeah, there. I don't remember not near the selection of clean waterfalls. Uh, the It's just a different style. I'm not sure how to.
Eh, well,
It was
everyone
me.
I've talked to.
Yeah, go
Oh, go
ahead.
ahead. Everyone I've talked to that has gone to Ecuador has said this. It's really fun boulder gardeny runs
Mhm.
that are incredible. However, when there's big boulders, there's also going to be sieves and undercuts and things like that. So from a safety perspective, it's more of a class 5-4 run, not necessarily very beginner friendly. I would agree with that. But Mike, if you're driving down, you're a solid, you just ran the upper gully. I think you would be okay if you went with a guide in Ecuador. If as he's driving down, so he's going to probably be stopping in Ecuador on his way to Chile anyways. So Mike, you should definitely stop. Um, Ed Lockwood had a question about, do you have to worry about venomous snakes in Chile, Dave? Will you answer that for him?
Yeah, no snakes. Um, and we don't have mosquitoes either. Not at the retreat anyway. It's super awesome. Um,
That is incredible.
yeah, we don't have snakes. You just don't see them. I don't know, and
I
I could tell you my theory why, but it's too long.
No, I know so I know the science behind this one, Dave.
Mhm.
The Andes Mountains are very vertical right there, and there are poisonous snakes in Argentina and in other places in South America. However, Chile is long and narrow and kind of protected from the rest of it. And for whatever reason, I think they just didn't make it over the range.
Yeah,
Um,
that's exactly it. You got the Atacama Desert to the north, Andes to the east. You got the Pacific to the west, and you got the Antarctic to the south. It's the exact opposite reason why Costa Rica gets so many snakes. It's the land bridge between the Americas, and all those snakes bundle up there. Anyway,
There's definitely some cougars in town, Jeremy. That's funny. Another question they had was
Puma,
uh,
Pumas.
Pumas, yes, Pumas. Um, Another question was, let's talk about what's included in the package, and do they pay for does like somebody coming down, they pay for their plane flight separate from booking with you? How does that all work?
Yeah, good question. Uh, so you get yourself here. Uh, Airfares are cheap right now, and they will continue to fall as long as gas prices stay down. So we're seeing good prices. That's great news for us. Um, we pick you up at the airport, and then you get 3 meals a day plus appetizers. We usually put out a couple bottles at night per night, table bottles, and beyond that, you kind of there's a store across the road, and you can go buy wine or beer or whatever, additional pisco sours. Um, so your package, there's the pricing is kind of like airline pricing. Everybody's on the same trip or the same plane, but your pricing is more economical or more expensive depending on which lodging you choose. So we have the VIP river suites, which are right on the river, and those we have limited spaces on the river. And then we have the Hosteria cabins, which are centrally located. And they have a bathroom, ensuite bathroom as well, um, and really nice beds. I invested in the best beds I could get, so that was a big deal. Uh, then it goes dormitories if you go more economical, and then you can even camp and get more economical. Surprisingly, most people choose uh, the more expensive options. Once we got away from those hostel type guests, people just wanted nicer beds and nicer stay on their vacations. Um,
No,
yeah,
no.
and the the kayak is included. You go kayaking every day. If you're on an intermediate trip and there's an advanced trip going the same day, maybe your friend goes on the intermediate trip with one group and a separate group, and then you go on an advanced trip with a separate group. But you're meeting back every day at dinner time for the meals, and we kind of have nightly celebrations, that sort of thing. Hot springs, we might have some add-ons where you pay out of pocket, like hot springs. Um, there are some activities. Some people asked about cougars and that sort of thing. There are discotheques. That's Lucas leads those activities. I've kind of outgrown the. I kind of I'm making espressos in the morning. I'm not leading the discotheque trips that much these days. So sometimes I do volunteer to be the designated driver, though, every now and then. Yeah.
So if
So it's
someone
good.
Yeah, someone was flying down, like what would that look like? They fly down from the States and then they get to the airport, and then how do they get to you? How does that work? Logistics.
Yeah. So that's on our FAQs page. I actually have I lay out the logistics and where to find cheap airfares. But you're going to fly Santiago, Chile, and then you're going to have a 90-minute connector to Temuco. You're not going to remember that, but it's all on the FAQs page. Uh, and then we're going to pick you up at the airport in Temuco and drive you from the airport to the retreat. Uh, and we have listed times. What time? It's every Saturday between 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. And some people want to arrive early, and we could kind of recommend hotels to stay in. Uh, Most of the time, we don't allow people to be on the property early, uh, unless we just kind of have a dead trip the week before. That's because we flip those rooms every Saturday, and someone's sleeping. Someone's going to be in that room, or sometimes people will ask to stay after it. If it's empty, we'll usually allow it. But a lot of times we are having someone's coming in that same day that you depart. But we have a lot of people that will stay in Pucon for a day or two before. Or they'll stay in Santiago. Uh, but the main thing is you get to the Temuco airport between 11 a.m. and 5 p.m. And if you're outside of those times, it's usually me, I'll help you with the logistics of uh, getting from the airport to here. There's a lot of options. You can get a Sprinter van for $20 at the airport, and that's what all the guys do. It's pretty easy. Um, and on the
Well,
way home, yeah,
yeah, same thing on the way home. You just drive them to the airport and then they go home.
yeah, we'll drive them to the airport, or we'll drive them to that Sprinter van in Pucon, depending on the logistics. But
Awesome.
we take care of those logistics, and
And
we make it easy. And you're on the property, and those guides. We talked about Blue. Blue's a professional musician. He picks and sings with banjo and guitar, and so he's an added bonus. If you get on one of Blue's trips, that's a bonus because you can almost count on him singing, and you get some live music in.
that's
We do a night in Pucon where we eat dinner out in Pucon and go to one of our favorite restaurants, and then we walk around town and you know do some shopping and souvenir shopping and tourism stuff and uh, craft get craft beer, craft ice cream, whichever your choice. What's your flavor, kind of thing. It's a cool town to see. It's kind of like European ski town meets Latin America. Um, Really cool place to people watch, and
yeah,
it has a European feel to it. Um, yeah.
yeah. Did do Mike asked, so have we picked a week yet on when we're going to do this? And no, Mike, we have not picked a week, but you let us know which week that's going to be. Does anybody have any other questions for Dave while we have him here?
What's the feel of beginner, like, percentages, Eric, that you would think would be beginner, intermediate, and advanced? And I have a week I think I would recommend, but I want to. What do you
Well,
think?
Mike, yeah, I think you'd have a mix. So it depends who that comes from our group comes down, but anybody that's taking the Monday night class, they are at least they will have the basics of a roll. They'll have river running under their belt and the basics. Mike is a pretty solid paddler, and there's Mitch I'm thinking of as well. We have some very solid boaters that would definitely want to do Upper Palagine, some of those harder runs, learn how to run waterfalls and things like that, and are ready to step up to that. But then we also have some people that would be more comfortable on class 3 and things like that. So it really
So,
depends.
um, I'm thinking. So there's December 13th, and then the last week of January
Okay.
would work with those 2 weeks. Could work with beginner, intermediate, and advanced. Uh, the last, I mean, a really cool resource for you guys. I'm gonna post it. I'm just gonna post it in your group right now.
Yeah,
Is,
post it.
is our trips calendar?
Okay. And another thing to remember, guys, is that if it's a group and it's not just bookings one on one, like it's a better price. So consider that. Um, I think that what you were saying earlier, Dave?
Uh, yeah. So there's I'll post the group discount link, but I need to create some sort of code for you guys. Hold on, I'm
Maybe
having tech issues here.
that's okay. Maybe uh, Ohio kayak something or
Uh,
Ohio OKI something. That's what I've been setting up with a lot of brands is like discount codes or, something along those lines.
Yeah. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna post the group discount page, uh, and then I've got to figure out how to. Well, you and I can talk about how to send out an invite to everybody.
Cool. I have by the way, I have a Facebook group of whitewater paddlers here in like that is like 400 people, and it's like the core people in our community that paddle, and I post into it pretty regularly. So that's probably what I'll do to get the information out to everyone that is interested in doing a trip. Because if you're looking to step your paddling up, like you really can't do better than Pucon. It's one of my favorite places in the world. I've spent a lot of time there, and it's completely changed my life. My paddling went from here to here very quickly by going, and so I really honestly cannot recommend it enough. And I hope all of you like talk to Nicole, talk to people that have done this. It's an incredible opportunity and it's an incredible trip, and you certainly will not regret it. Ed, maybe one day. I know Ed. Ed's a broke college student. I like that, by the way. Uh, the female does she have a name? I know
She does. Joy Kayaker.
Joy Kayaker. I
Yeah,
love it.
Johnny Kayaker and Joy Kayaker.
Joy, the best. But we've had several people from Cincinnati go down to Dave's retreat and had a wonderful time. I've heard nothing but awesome things, and I haven't been there in 13 years, but I had a blast when I was there 13 years ago. Does anybody have any other questions for Dave before we? I'm going to do some final announcements, and then we're going to wrap it up here. Leave them in the comments. I'm going to switch over. Dave, if you see comments come in, just jump in and cut me off as I pull up announcements.
Okay.
Okay. There's a group going to the Lower Yacht, by the way, this weekend, and then there's a group going to the Lower Gully. So if you're interested in paddling this weekend, there's two trips going out of town. The Columbus paddlers are going up to the Lower Yacht, and then I think there's a group going to the um, going to the Lower Gully. So if you think you're ready, like you need to talk to that group if they're comfortable stepping. If you'd be really stepping up, I don't know that they'd be interested. I'm not running that trip, so I can't speak. As everyone knows, I hid this week's giveaway dry box is on the Mill Creek. And so if you are interested in getting a free dry box with a bunch of goodies, there's also discount codes in there this week for specific paddling companies and some really good. This is the best box I've made yet. So go paddle the Mill Creek and go find it. And I'm very upset at all of you. It took you forever to get the box from Kelly's Nature Preserve. That there is no excuse for that. That is our home river and our home rapid. I expected it to be picked up like that. I think everyone assumed somebody already went and got the dry box, but then nobody did. So um, I'll let you cut in, Dave. Did we have comments come up while I'm reading?
I'm just typing answers to questions as you talk.
Oh, cool. Awesome. I'll keep talking then, and Dave will keep typing away. So in closing, um, I want questions. Who should I bring on next? Dane is going to come on at some point. I don't know when. We're still working out logistics. I figured I got to like leave like the goat of kayaking towards the end. Like he can't be, yeah, I can't bring him on like, right away. But let me know who you think we should bring on. If you have questions for next week, please let me know. Next week, I'll announce guests for next week soon. And I think that's everything. Let me double check. All right. What were some of the comments that came in while I was talking? Oh, and everyone come to Outdoor X, not this weekend, but next weekend. Come to Outdoor X. I need the support. I need volunteers. I need people racing. Like we have to show the park districts, the Five Rivers Park District, that paddling is important, and we do have a strong paddling community here. Questions? I hear the keyboard going, typing away. Private companies. What I was thinking. Oh, Dave's doing a good job. Okay. With that, was there anything else, Dave?
No, thank you.
Cool.
Enjoyed
Yes,
it. Thank you for the opportunity and super proud of you, Eric.
thank
You're
you.
killing.
We're certainly trying here, and I hope nothing but good things for you, and I hope some of our Cincinnati and Dayton and our Ohio community come and paddle in Chile because it will really help their paddling and it helps everyone. So I hope some people book some trips, and if you guys want to do a group trip and you guys want to go down together, so you at least have some friendly faces, let me know, and I'm happy to organize it. December 13th, though, is what we're going to flirt with. I'll be
Well,
posting
so
what
I was leaning a little bit towards that January date.
January.
I forgot to finish my sentence. I just shared the calendar, but January. Give me a second.
Yep.
January 24th to 31 is a great week for that. I think that will fit everybody a little better. 24th to
Okay.
30. That's with
Okay.
Blue and Hay as well.
Okay. Oh, blue's the best. So
Does that work? January, because uh, it
yeah, it
says
does.
on our calendar it's showing beginner and intermediate, and then for Michael and Mitch, we can also add advanced to that week as well.
Well, and it would be good for them because by then, like, if the upper Palkine will be lower, so
It's
for their
more
first
for
way more for their
yeah,
first times down. Yeah.
yeah.
So that would be very good. Some of these, runs you don't want high flows for, and you could go down to Chile for a week and then all of a sudden the water's way too high and you can't get on some of the stuff. So January 24th through 31. Those are the dates we're going to throw out there. And I'll post in the Cincy Paddlers group, and then I'll send out an email as well. I try not to spam everyone with Ohio Kayak Instruction email updates, but I will send one out, and I'll post in Cincy Paddlers that there's going to be a group going down January 24th to 31. So if you're interested in that, um, yeah. Go ahead and start emailing and talking to Dave if you're interested in booking that. Uh, will be around 50% the end of January. Oh, there you go, Nicole. All right. Well, with that, we are going to end the live stream. Thank you, everyone that came. I'm so glad we got it to work this week. Dave, how did it finally work? You sent an invite to me. Is that how it worked?
I never got to work on my laptop. I opened up my phone and I accepted. I did chat GPT and it said go into your settings and give permissions to Facebook. So it might be that. It might be that my phone has the permissions and my laptop doesn't.
Every time I have an issue, it's when someone's trying to do it with their laptop instead of their phone. And maybe
Mm-hmm.
it's because I'm shooting with my phone instead.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I wonder if laptop to laptop works well or phone to phone works well. But when you try to like mix it up, it fights you. Um, could be.
Well, good to know for your next guy. So, if you're having problems, you can say, try your phone.
Yeah, exactly. So, all right. Well, thank you everyone for watching this week's live stream. And if you have any questions, shoot me an email or shoot Dave an email and enjoy getting on the river. Hope to see you all out there paddling soon. So, thanks, Dave.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.